write a song. I'm going to write a song about that. I don't like that. But anyways, if you cannot hear me, it's because
Pongo ahí abajo
I
que
just
viene
had
uno.
lunch. I just had lunch. I was in English conversation class and didn't have time to have lunch, so I had to wait.
Iván, está levantando la cama con la niña.
All right, so let me mute everybody.
See, teacher, mute everybody, please.
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, so
Sí, señora.
mute. I was also disabling the notifications, the WhatsApp notifications on the, so I don't like that. Oh, okay, well, the first thing I'm going to do is that I'm going to go to the platform. You guys are gonna go with me. So, I mean, you're not gonna go on your device, you will accompany me. So let's go here, hold on. Here is the platform. I'm gonna show you now. Okay, okay, well, here we have testing, and here you are masters doing this. Okay, now I wanted to explain this to you. If you notice, this was last week. That was June 1st, June 6th. Today, or now, we are in June 8th, June 13th, and you have nothing there so far, which is good. Here, I left a homework. And this homework, although it says, I know here I left it until, let me go in so you can see what I mean. If you notice, this homework, I put it on the 6th and it finished on the 11th. Let me go back. Let me go back. As you can notice here, Ollie, stop that. As you can see that the homework started on the 6th, but the week finished on the 6th. You know, which means that every time I leave a homework, you need to go into the homework and see what are the dates or what the dates are for you. Like you started on the 6th, but you have until the 11th to submit the homework. So if I leave you a homework, let's say, for example, imagine that today I put a homework here. You know that today is the 13th, which is the last day of this week. But if you go into the homework, don't ask me, is that for today? No, don't do that. You go into the homework and you check the date, because normally what I do is, if I give you the homework today, I give you 1 week after today. So you can study and you can do the homework. You know, this is something I wanted to explain to you. So whenever you want to ask for when you have to submit the homework, the answer is there on the system. Just open the homework and see the details, like when is the last day. Look, I'm going to tell you this. I study online, I already told you, and I had a few friends that they had bad habits when they were working online. What was the habit? The teacher assigns a homework today, example, and the last day, the due date is the 11th. You know what they did? They waited for the 11th to do homework and upload it. Don't do that. Like, okay, if it is on the 6th, don't do it on the 6th if you don't want. Don't do it on the 7th. Don't do it on the 8th. But don't do it the last day. Because in the last day, you're going to be stressed. Something might happen with power, with internet. You might be sick and you won't be able to do it. And then you're going to tell me, teacher, I have problems with my internet. And I'm going to ask you, you have problems 7 days with your internet? You see, so you have to be careful. And yeah, okay, let's take a look. Take a look at this homework and let's see how many people did it. We're gonna go in there and let's see how many people did this homework. You see, the Lexi, Mirelis, Scarling didn't do it. Daenerys didn't do it. And then we continue here. We have Genesis didn't do it. And Manuel Ariel didn't do it. So these people lost the points for this homework. You see? So you have to be careful with that. This is something I wanted to tell you because every homework that we do, we have grades. We have 100 points, and the 100 points are going to be distributed all along the homeworks that we are going to do and the exams, because we have exams like the normal exams, but the exams, I know we give it for 20 points. That might be less, that might be 15. We'll see how we work with that. So I don't want an exam to have a big value when we're working online. And that's it. That's what I wanted to tell you about this. This is what I wanted to tell you. Now, what we are going, look, in testing, what we are going to do is, for example, this week I give you a questionnaire and you study, you do your homework, and when we meet, I'm just gonna clarify and ask questions, or if you have questions, you can ask me, so I can also set things clear.
Teacher,
Yes.
I was living in Puerto Plata and I moved, so I don't have internet, and I have been using Paquetico, you know?
Yeah.
So
Not a
I
package.
have, see, I have problem with my internet.
Okay.
They give me 7 days for installing my internet.
Oh, for the installation. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Well, you're gonna have time. Don't worry. You will have time. So that's fine. When you have your internet,
I'm going to
let me
go.
know.
I'm going to go today with my friend to do in her house.
Oh, okay. All right. Very good. That's fine.
Saludos, señores.
Yeah. Okay. Now, let's have an interactive moment. Hold on. I'm going to share the board with you, and I'm going to ask you a few questions. You were supposed to, what is this? Hold on. Okay, here it is. I know you can see this. You were supposed to study the unit number 1, lesson number 1 from testing. And there were a few questions there that you had to answer. Now, if you know the answer, you raise your hand on the platform, please, because I need to see. You can raise your hand and give the answer. You don't have to read. You don't have to give the exact answer from the book, but just to see if you understood something. There was a question. This is the main question. What is testing? And this answer is very general in the book, because testing is the whatever experience of teaching experience. I don't even remember because I don't care about that definition because it's too basic. But for you, what is testing is the question. 2 people only to give this answer, because I know we talked about it last week. So if you know it, can you raise your hand from the platform so I can see it? Because look, when I'm working like this, I only see 4 people at a time. So I have to go and click. Hold on. Okay, I see. Elvi, it says D'Angeli, but I know it's you, Elvi.
Yes. It's my wife name.
Okay.
So, What is testing? Testing, can I answer now?
Yeah.
Okay, just I'm gonna tell something, some opinion about because I read this. But the testing is the
David, disculpa que estás hablando, pero no está muy bien.
¿ah? No se escucha.
Disculpa que te interrumpa, pero cuando hablas como que se intercorta así
That's,
como te vas.
that's your
Okay.
connection, Jensen.
Maybe. So testing is the
La mía no es
technique-
profe.
Oh, God.
testing is the techniques and how the teacher gonna deliver the class and the method how to follow up to be accordingly to the rule to follow up as a teacher, as an English teacher. It's my opinion. Just
Very good, yes. Oscar, what about you? You raised your hand.
Teacher. I want to talk.
Well, but Oscar raised the hands before you.
Well, teacher,
Uh-huh.
teacher, you can listening?
Yes.
Okay. As the book say, testing is an important part of the teaching and learning experience. But I think that when the teacher gives a test to some students, that they have the opportunity to see if the students are learning, and they can learn it too, because
Yeah.
they can see the detail
Uh-huh.
in some words. Because you need to study if you want to see the good result, como resultado. Good result of the student first.
Okay. Yeah, very good. That's right. That's right. Oscar was touching one of the questions that we had that was how does testing benefit students? That was the question. How does testing benefit students? Like there are two main reasons or two ways, I might say, how testing helps students. I don't know, Edison, if you want to answer that because I see you have your hands up.
I raised my hand, but I answered the other question, teacher.
Oh, okay, that's fine. That's okay. So the question now is, how is it that testing helps students? Cynthia, you're giving an applause there. Yeah.
You listen me? Yeah.
Yes, I am.
Okay, testing can help the student because you can show the student their advance, and you know how is the progress of your student and how is your progress as teacher. Because with testing you can
Qualify.
your homework as teacher.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, very good. Very good. Yeah, I know that was good, Cynthia. I know you guys can see on the board that I'm writing something. Hold on. Put this way. I don't know if you can see that, but let me put it a little bit bigger. Just right there. Can you see it right on that size, or do you need it bigger?
It's good, teacher. I can see you clearly.
Okay, good. Okay, now, you don't have to answer this question, but think about this. Testing. Testing is related to exams, to evaluation. Let's take the example of an exam, which is part of testing. So imagine that not today, imagine that next Saturday, you have an exam. Let's say English 6 exam. This is an example. English 6 exam. What is what you do if you know that you have an exam next week? I know you guys, I know. What you normally do is that you study, right?
Study hard, teacher. We study hard.
That's true. You study and you make sure that if there was something that you couldn't understand clearly, you focus on that because you know that if it comes on the exam, then you're not gonna get it right. So basically, this is a way how testing helps students. It helps them
Yeah,
learn more and study more about the subject that they're working with. That's one way.
I want to say something, teacher.
Yes, Edison, you didn't raise your hand.
Oh, sorry.
That's
But
okay. You can go
I can
on.
tell. Okay. The testing, you said that how testing can help students. I mean that according to what you're saying now is that testing help us to improve in the things that we are weak. I mean,
Mhm. That's true. That's true. Yeah, that's true. And there is another way how testing can help students. Imagine that you took the test, right? You took the test, you took the exam. I said we gave exam on this example, all right? So you take an exam and you see that you got a few wrong. You got a few answers that were not correct. So you know what you do? You say, oh, I believe I knew this. I didn't know that. But next time, you won't make the same mistakes because you know that is wrong. So basically, testing helped you learn more than what you knew before. That's the point. And remember, we're talking about an exam, but testing is not limited to exams. Now, let's give the difference between testing. Before we continue with the question, let's give the difference between testing, evaluation, and exam. Now we see that testing is the process of keeping track of students' progress. I know I'm missing the S there. Anyways, I'm missing the possessive, but anyways. So you as a teacher, you are testing students all the time. Like when you keep track of what they're doing, if they're getting better, if they are not getting better, that's what you call testing. Testing is not giving an exam. Exam is something different. Exam is part of testing. So let's put the definition for exam in here. Exam. An exam is a tool of testing. And I'm gonna put this evaluation. So it's a tool of testing. We have many tools to test. We have many tools and resources to evaluate, and an exam is only one of them. Although here in Dominican Republic, like a few years ago, and not even here, other countries, people believe that the only effective way to test and to evaluate is through a written exam, a written paper. But that is wrong because when you work with languages, that is not the most appropriate way to test all the time. I'm not saying it's not good, it is good, but it cannot be the only resource that you use to test your students and evaluate them. Okay, so now we see that testing is not the same as exam. We see that exam is a part of testing, right? And exam is part of evaluation. And then you wonder, what is evaluation? I'm going to delete this. Hold on. Let's put it this way. And we're gonna write in here, evaluation. What is evaluation? What is evaluation? And there are many ideas of what evaluation is. Do you guys know what oh, okay, Jensen, what is evaluation?
Evaluation. I have looked in some answers in the internet, teacher.
Okay.
Say the making of a judgment about an unknown number. or evaluate of something assessment.
Okay, yes, that's true. That's right. Making judgments of what you have assigned. Very good. Um, uh, hold on. All right. Anybody else besides Jensen? Any idea of what evaluation is? Delby?
In evaluation is when you check if the student are increased about the knowledge or not. It's something like a quick test that you do, you know, to see how is the increase with the feedback with the students about what you give it to them.
Okay. Now, look, let me tell you, the definition for evaluation and testing is almost the same. There is only a little difference between testing and evaluation. We said that testing is the process of keeping track of student progress, but I say that evaluation is the same thing, but there is something in evaluation that is not in testing. And pay attention to this because this is the
I don't like this, teacher, because you don't see me when I want to talk.
I'm looking at you. I am. I see you.
No,
I see you.
I put the reaction and you don't give me the
Because you didn't raise the. I don't know if you are applauding or if
I
you are.
I don't know how to put the raise.
Okay, you see where you.
Raise my hand.
Okay, you see where it says participants. Click on participants and then you will be able to raise your hand. When you click participants, you check yours.
Oh,
you see? Now I'm not gonna miss you because if I don't see you, yeah. All right. So I was saying that evaluation is the same thing as testing, but it has something else that testing doesn't have. That evaluation is the whole process. And I'm gonna tell you why I say the whole process of keeping track of student progress. Why is it the whole process? What is the difference between testing and evaluation? Okay, I'm going to tell you. Difference. Testing happens in the middle and at the end. But evaluation happens since the beginning until the end. Maybe this is confusing for you. Let me tell you. You can positive evaluate students before teaching anything. You can do that. But you cannot test students before teaching. You cannot test me on something that you haven't taught me, but you can evaluate me. Why? Okay, how do you call, what is the name for the evaluation that you do before you start a course, Cynthia? How do you call that?
Evaluación diagnóstica.
Okay, all right, you see?
Cynthia.
Let me put it here.
I don't know it in English. I only know
diagnostic evaluation. You see, the diagnostic evaluation is something that you do even before you teach students because you want to know how much students know before you start. Because this is the way on how you know if you got to start fast, slow, or the elements or things that you have to take into account. Now, testing is different. For example, if I'm teaching you the numbers, right? I can do a diagnostic evaluation. I can ask who knows the numbers. I can even give you I can even give you something written to evaluate you as a diagnostic, right? This diagnostic doesn't affect your grades. That's the point. But when you test, you are checking how much students know, and there are grades for that. There are points for that. But in diagnostic evaluation, you don't assign points because you want to see how much they know before you teach them. I don't know if you get what I'm trying to say.
That's clear,
Yes,
teacher.
Edison? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, teacher, yeah.
All right, so let's go over this. Remember, evaluation, testing, and exam are not the same, but they are related. Why? Because evaluation is the whole process, right? Testing is just the process. Why? Because it doesn't happen at the beginning. It happens after you teach. Evaluation can happen before or after you teach. That's the point. Now, testing belongs to evaluation, right? And exam belongs to testing and at the same time belongs to evaluation. So basically we're playing here, it's like a big circle where evaluation is the outer part, the outside part. Then inside the circle we have testing, and then a little thing inside testing is exam. That's the thing. And remember, the only difference between testing and evaluation is that you cannot test students from something that you haven't taught. That's the point. And when you are testing, 99% of time, you assign a grade, you assign a value to that process. But in evaluation, it doesn't necessarily need to be like that. Yeah, well, I hope you got that. But anyways, if you didn't get it, this video is gonna be on YouTube and you can go back again and rewatch it and see if you didn't understand something there. Okay, let's continue then. I was in the questions. We were talking about students, but what about teachers? How can, you have to raise your hand, remember. How can testing help teachers? In what ways? You can say one way if you want. How can testing help teachers? Because we said students, they study more, they learn more. If they make mistakes, then they learn from their mistakes, right? Felix?
Hello.
Hi.
Yeah. The testing could help the teacher because when the teacher do the process, the teacher could know what are the topics that the teacher have to develop more, have to explain better. Because in that way, they could understand in what topic the student are less they know less about that, and it helps how to teach better in that time.
Yes, that's very good. Very true. Right, nice. Isakar, you raise your hand too?
Yes, a testing helps teachers to be able to be more effective when they were teaching. It's pretty good for teachers as well. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Very good. Very good. Yeah. Anybody else? Oscar?
Yes, teacher. I think so that testing force the teacher study more than the target language that he want to teach.
Mm-hmm. That's true also. Very good. I see you guys are
here.
That's good.
Hey,
Oh, Delby, yes, you too.
I think that help teacher because they learn also from the student a lot of things. When sharing, you know, some history about something, also teacher learn from the student because they read a lot, they study, they watch a video, and then they're sharing each other different opinions, and the teacher also learn a lot of things.
That's true also. Very good.
Like I said before, the teacher the testing force the teacher that study more the target language that he wants to teach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
Teacher, me? I mean, teacher.
Who?
I raised my hand, didn't you? My hand raised.
I see it, but look, Cynthia raised the hands before.
Okay, okay. I got it away, my turn.
Yeah. Yeah, Cynthia, you wanted to say something?
Yes, testing can help us. Question: when we are teaching to the student, am I teaching good my student and I'm doing the things effective, or I'm making mistakes with my student? And with you testing your student, you can qualify. I have this word.
Qualify.
Qualify. Thank you, Oscar. You can qualify your own work with your student.
Mm-hmm.
That's all.
That's true. Okay, Cynthia is saying something important. I'm gonna go to that, but let's listen to Edison, who wanna say something also.
Okay. What I wanna say is something related to Cynthia. Is that testing helps teacher to see how effective they have been in the testing process, and also with the testing process, teacher can see and what things on what fields they had to improve.
Yes, that's true. That's true. Yes. Now, okay, I'm not gonna say a name, but this is only for you, just to see if this has happened to you. You are a college, and there is a teacher that everybody is afraid of him or her because nobody passes the subject. Like if you pass the subject, you pass it with 70, or if you pass it with 80, you are the best, right? Because many people flunk on that subject. If there are 20 people on that classroom, only 5 pass and 15 flunk, which means they don't pass. And now the teacher feels proud because nobody passes this subject and everybody is afraid of me, right? And you know what's going on there? The teacher thinks that he's tough and that he is a good teacher, but he is a bad teacher. He is bad because his teaching ways are not good. They're not giving results. You as a teacher, your goal is that students make it, right? It's not to show that you are the one who knows more and that your subject is hard and nobody passes. You're not doing your job. You're not doing your work. Let me see, someone raised their hands. Hold on. Oh, it was, hold on, let me see. It was Isakar, you wanna talk?
I agree. I agree.
Okay, all right. Delvi, you want to talk to?
Yes, I just want to say that it's truth what you said. I had an experience before with a little course with communication, and I was in Santiago, and the teacher said, okay, the first day you arrive, he said, read this paper and put a microphone and put a camera and everything. A lot of people mistake. And he said, okay, so you are not good, you are not good. And I tell him, no, not only me, he tell about 10 of us. Yeah. And I said, listen, you didn't teach nothing, but you said that he is not good, this is not good. You must to teach, give the material, give a book. And he said, no, the book I will send later. But you must to say, you must do the best. So why? And I said, no, this is not the way. This is not the way.
Right.
You know, and there's a lot of people like this.
Yeah, he was tested before teaching, like, and
Yeah,
do that.
just first day, everybody, he put to reading with the paper, you know, and microphone and everything. How are you gonna do this?
That's
It's
crazy.
impossible.
Yeah, that's crazy. Matisa, I see you. You want to say something also?
Well, one of the good things of working for the program is that we have the pressure of the students. We never know how they will be evaluated. So they even send everything from Santo Domingo. So if a student flunk, we have to explain. It's not like, oh, they flunked because they, you know, when a student is not giving his or her best, we have to report before the damage is completely done. So when my students flunk in one topic, then my boss calls me and we have to talk. So they use the statistics. So we are afraid of it. So we work hard in order to give results. It's a results-oriented program. And many of my partners now are not professionals. They are teams, man. Now they are very young people, but they know how to deliver the class. They know how to do it well. And as long as they get results, Messi doesn't care if you have a master, if you this, no. Give me results.
Right.
And that's why it's important. When your students flunk, you are not effective for the program.
That's the point. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Now okay, that's a very good program where they work, and I know it's very strict and demandable, but in public schools, you also have to be careful with that, because there is a problem. Many teachers, because the extremes are not good. If everybody flunks, there is a problem with you. If everybody passes all the time without any difficulties, there is a problem with you. You know why? Because there are students who will have difficulties. And if everybody passes with an A in your subject, like an A, you have problems as a teacher, because not everybody deserves an A. So you have to revise the way that you are evaluating. Maybe you are teaching good, but maybe your evaluation is not to the level of students. So you have to be careful. And I'm not talking about the teachers who don't evaluate. They do ghost evaluations that they say, okay, I do this, I do that, but they don't do anything. They just assign the grades by sight, and that's it. So we have to be careful with that, you know? Yeah, that's right. I try, because when you work with big groups or many groups, sometimes you make mistakes, and you as a teacher, you have to understand that you are not perfect, and that you have to let your students know that you made mistakes. And if you make a mistake one day, you just can say, oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake, we have to fix this, and that's it. You know, don't try to pretend that you are the perfect person, because you are not, and you will make mistakes all the time. So be careful. I don't know if Issachar and Edison, I don't know if you want to say something.
I want to say something, teacher.
Yes.
Just about what you were saying. I think from my own perspective, teacher, that happened because the teacher doesn't use the good strategy to teach the students.
That's true. That's true. If students are flunking in your subject, if they're not making it, then you have to revise the way that you're teaching. And it doesn't mean that you are a bad teacher, because being a teacher is not that you are good and that's it. Because having results depend on 60% from the teacher. I would say 60, but it's 50, 50. Because the other 50 or other 40% depends on the students. It could be the worst teacher in the world, and if the student wants to learn, they will learn. It could be the best teacher of the world, and if the student doesn't have any interest, they won't learn. So it's a 50-50 situation where 50 goes for the teacher and 50 goes for the student. Oh, okay, let me see. Someone raised the hand. Okay. Did you raise your hand, Cynthia?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, teacher, I agree with you because good teacher noted with the students, because if you are a good teacher, your students are good. Your students want to participate, always want to talk in the class. You know that they want learn more, they want to learn with your knowledge, and they want to improve their knowledge. When you are a bad teacher, the students are afraid of talk to you and participate in your class. In the university, we have a lot of that only that things that be a good teacher is give you a paper, a book, read the book, and in the next time we have an exam or you have a position, and they don't explain you as a teacher, and you need a teacher that explain you the things that you are going to do.
Yeah.
And afraid to participate in this class because you don't know what you are going to do, and you don't know the things that you read is good or is bad, or you don't know if you understand bad things, or if you understand what is right or what is wrong, and you need your teacher. In the chapter number 1, I can understand very good this part, and you need your teacher here for and that you can, question him.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, I understand. I understand what you mean. Yes. Cynthia touched a very important topic that we will touch it. Well, actually, in the next chapter, it will talk about what you have to take into account when you are evaluating, when you are giving an exam, depending on the skill that you're testing. Now, I know this meeting is gonna take long. You know why I limit the amount of time in the meetings? It's because as I am recording, I don't want the videos to be over 1 hour. So it's gonna be very heavy for me to upload it to YouTube, you know? So yeah, well, before we finish, we have one more question that I'm gonna write it here. And there was a topic that touched the stages of testing. Stages of testing. How many stages did you see in? Hold on. Computer is cheating me. Okay, I don't know if Edison you have hands or.
But I raised my hand, teacher. I raised my hand. But what's the other topic that you were talking?
Okay, now can you lower your hand then? In the same place that you raise. Okay, good. You see? Because if you leave it there, I believe that you're raising your hand. The same, Matisa, you have your hands up? Oh, Matisa is not there. Cynthia, you want to say something?
I remember too, the intuitive and the scientific, communicative.
Communicative, okay. All right,
And
so
I think
Huh?
I know, I don't remember more.
All right. So yes, that's true. We have had, or testing has had, 3 stages so far. The first one was the intuitive. Many people say intuitive. You can say it the way you want it. So intuitive, the intuitive part of testing. Okay. Intuitive comes from intuition. Do you guys know what intuition is? I don't know if you know, Matisa, you're raising your hand.
Woman,
Well,
no,
it
woman,
comes
no.
from your subjective idea of what you think is right.
Yes,
Which
yes.
might be wrong because you don't know everything. So you know this, but you don't know everything. You don't know how the brain operates. So you think. So we were victim of this. Most of Dominicans have been victim of this stage of testing. I think we are moving on, but it's like we are in the middle.
Right.
We have suffered. That has been the boundaries we have had. Intuition.
Right.
Whatever the teacher thinks is right, that's the way he says that you flunked, that you are good for nothing.
That's true. That's true. Well, Matisa said it all. If you are teaching, let's take a grammar. If you are teaching the present perfect, for example, and you decide that to test the present perfect, you need to do a oral presentation all the time, or that you need to give a written test or exam all the time, you are going to be doing that in every moment that you have to test students. So the intuitive part is whatever you think is the right way to test this, you do it because that's what you think. That comes from intuition. Then we have the scientific one, and the scientific state was kind of difficult because it's all the opposite of the intuitive part. Now, what they did is that they took a model of testing, right? And they apply the same testing principles to all groups of students. For example, you are this testing group for this period of classes. I cannot evaluate you as the last testing group because you're not the same. You're different people, you have different needs, and that's the problem with the scientific stage, that it had the same way to test everybody. Remember, the intuitive one was the opposite. In the intuitive, there were different ways, right? Millions of ways. Every teacher had a different way. Now, in the scientific one, what they did is that they put everything together and teachers were locked to test only in one way, no matter if students had different needs or circumstances, right? That was the scientific stage where testing was the same for every group. Yeah. Okay, let me see. I don't know. I forgot a word. I was looking for a word. But anyways, okay. Now the communicative one, which is the one that we are living on today. That's what they say. Is different and is the same. Did you get that? I mean, did you read about the communicative stage of testing? You didn't see that? Isakar, did you raise your hand?
I didn't, but I have the answer if you want me to.
Yes, if you have.
Share. Yeah. What I wrote was this. It's a time when evaluation of language use is emphasized rather than the language form. That was.
Yeah, yeah.
I found that on the.
Very good, very good. Yeah, that's true. Now look, the communicative stage of testing, right, is a mixture of the intuitive and the scientific one, but there are no limitations. Now, in the communicative stage of testing, here is a holistic. Holistic means you can take from here, you can take from there, you can take from everywhere, and everything is fine. Now, what you can do in the communicative stage of testing is testing students not only in one way. You can do it writtenly, you can do it orally, you can do it with signs. You don't need to give a paper. What you imagine, imagine that you are working. Okay, let me give you. This is from the next lesson, but we're finished here with that because this has to do with the communicative stage. Imagine that you are teaching the prepositions of place. And let's say that we have behind, that we have on, that we have in, that we have at, right? And so on and so on. We also have under, okay, you see? And we also have, no, not above. If I put above, that is not good because we have on. Yeah, you don't want to, when you are teaching, you don't want to get words that have the same meaning. You have to teach them separately, because if you're teaching students the prepositions of place and you put on, you see on here, and if you put above, that is going to create a confusion because both refer to a place, although there is one that is higher than the other. But you know, you want to avoid that. Let's keep on. Imagine that you are teaching this behind, on, in, at, under, and you have taught students about this already. Now, if you want to test this, you can do it in different ways. Can you think of any way that you can test the prepositions of place? It doesn't matter if it is writtenly, orally, whatever. Can you think of any way how to test this? Imagine that you are in the classroom, you already taught, because remember, for you to test, you need to teach first. You taught the prepositions of place, and now you want to test them. Okay, Matisa, can you give us one way?
Well, if I were working with children, I will prepare like a treasure hunt. And I will hide some candies around, and I will tell them where the candies are, and they should like go and follow the guidelines and find the candies. Okay, so if they found everything, then my purpose is completed. You know, the communicative approach basically focuses in the ability of the student to understand and speak. Is not for your ego. You need to find the way and study. Like you said, you can't treat us the same as you treat the other groups because you know the level we have. So based on that, you will do something different and significant according to the age and knowledge.
That's true. That's true. So you see, Matisa gave one way. Matisa said, well, I would take students, I would create like a type of game, treasure hunt, and I'm gonna tell students where the treasures are hidden. So if I say the treasure is behind the table, then students need to know what behind means. So if they go there behind the table, then you know that students understand the topic that you have taught them. So that's one way, but that's only one way because you can do another one. Depending on the age, depending on the level, and depending on the needs of students, you can bring a paper. You can print different images. Like for example, a ball. If you have a ball in a place, if you have a ball behind a place, if you have a ball under a place, you can bring that and you can tell students to write only the word where they see the ball. Like you can explain to them, like, okay, what you have to do is that you're going to write down the word where the ball is, if it is behind, if it is on, if it is under, if it is at, you know? That is another way to do it. And this one is written. But there is another one. Look, for true beginners that don't need to speak, not that they don't need, that they don't know how to speak, you know what you do? You can bring something to the classroom. You don't bring anything. Look, use a book or use whatever resource that you have in the classroom. You can bring, you can show them a notebook, you can show them a pen, and you can use your desk. You can tell them, you are going to say yes or no, okay? And you grab the pen and you put the pen here. Look, the pen is behind the chair, yes or no? And they say yes or no. And that's it. You're testing. Whoever you see that says no, you know that you need to work with that. You know, if we're working in front, for example, you say that the pen is in front of the teacher, yes or no? If they say no, then you have to work on that because they don't recognize what is in front and what is behind, you know? And those are, you see, we gave like 4 different ways how you can test them. We did it orally. If you want to work, like if you don't want students to talk at all, if you don't want them to talk at all, you see what you did, Issachar, you can tell them. If it is correct, thumbs up. If it is not correct, thumbs down. You see? You can do that if you don't want them to talk, if they don't know how to say yes or no. The point is that you know that they understand what you were saying. That's the thing. And that's it, guys. This video is gonna be very long. That's it. Let me see if you have any questions.
Good class, teacher.
Yeah?
A perfect class, teacher.
Yeah. I don't only
Perfect
know
class.
English, guys. Listen, I don't only know English. Yeah. So, all right. So then we will finish here. I'm going to upload the new homework. And this is going to come from chapter number, I guess it's chapter, lesson number 1 or 2 that has to do with vocabulary test. We're going to be focused on working with vocabulary. We already talked about this now. All this that we are doing is talking about vocabulary, but you will see in detail how you can do vocabulary in your classroom. So I will see you later if you have no questions.
Bye-bye. See you
Good class,
later.
teacher. Good class.
All right.
Buena clase, buena clase.
All right.
Cualquiera creía que estábamos en el salón de clase, tío.
Ah.
Claro, se sintió así la clase.
Today's class was better than the other one.
Yeah.
Que necesito aprender a hacer eso con el Zoom este.
Ah.
Que Matisa.
Bueno, Matisa, vaya aprendiendo ahí, que uno va a aprender de lo que uno ve.
Dios mío.
Está dura la clase.
Dividir la pantalla.
Gracias a todo el mundo.
See you later.
Bye.